there, this is Tammy. Welcome back to my channel. This is Woodland Stitching Studio, formerly known as Tammy's Crafty Life. This channel is these days mostly about cross stitch. If you go back a few years, you'll see all different kinds of crafting, a lot of different kinds of tutorials and fun things. But these days it's mostly about cross stitch, and I'll occasionally throw in something else I've worked on. My last video was a fully finished parade, and I had a lot of things that I showed you. I think I missed some things, but they haven't surfaced yet, so I'll show them at the time that they do surface. And the purpose of that video was to let you know that I'm starting my own finishing business and showing you the kinds of things that I have finished. And I'm looking for different kinds of things to finish also, or different ways to finish, so that I can show examples of that. So I'm keeping that in the back of my mind. Today is my regular cross stitch video. I think February 9th was the last one I filmed, and today is March 1st, so it's been about 3 weeks-ish, something like that. And yesterday was leap day, so interesting. We get that once every 4 years, so that was kind of a fun day. I did a fun new start for that. So I have one I'm going to call almost fully finished. I'm still trying to decide one thing to finish it, and I have some new starts and some whips. My stats for February was that I only finished 2 things, finished stitching them, not fully finished, and that I had 5 new starts. So that's going the wrong direction. I need to do a lot more finishing of cross stitches and less starting so that I can get my number down, because I don't like the number that I have. But I do like to start new things, and sometimes I cannot help myself. So first I'll show you my almost FFO, fully finished object. This is A Year of Celebrations, February, by Hands On Design, and this is it. And the way that I'm fully finishing it, when I had done in my finished parade, you saw August, and it was on the little clipboard that Kathy designed, and she had a tutorial on how to do that, and I followed that tutorial. But then I got this idea. I got this little tin at Hobby Lobby. It's a recipe tin. It comes with recipe cards, and I don't use recipe cards. But I've been watching, well, I watch Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch, and she has wordplay on a cool tin that you can't get anymore in her background. So I'm going to put these on this tin like this. They fit perfectly the way I finished this one. And the reason I haven't slapped the magnets on there yet is I don't like the white. So years ago, in my previous crafting life, when I used to do holiday bazaars, there was a really cool lunchbox kind of tin you could buy that had a hinged lid. It was white, and I sold a bunch of those at bazaars. I decorated them with designer paper, and I created inserts inside for recipes, and they were hot sellers. And I haven't done anything like that for a while, so I thought this was a cool idea. So I think I'm going to use pattern paper, because if you paint it, and if I paint up here the way this lid fits, the paint will rub off. So I think I'm going to use probably a black pattern paper, so I can leave the lid the way it is, or black, yeah, pattern. And I'm only going to put it up this high. I'm not going to go up under, and it won't matter. You won't ever see it. And then these will go on the outside, and then it'll frame this a bit better too. I kind of wish the lid, maybe I could probably spray paint the lid. I kind of wish the whole thing was a dark brown instead of black. So I'm going to think about that, because I could paint the lid. I don't have to worry about it, the paint rubbing off on it. So we'll see. This is my almost FFO, just because I'm kind of debating. So if you have any thoughts on that, please put them in the comments below. I would love to hear them. And the nice thing about using a tin is that I can then store them in it, so they'll be protected when they're not in use. So that was my one almost FFO, and I don't have any new finishes. I did finish 2 things this month, but I showed them to you in the previous video. So I have some new starts. This first one is very fun. I love this. This is from the Just Cross Stitch magazine, December 2023, and it's called The Snuggle is Real. And this is adorable. When I looked at this magazine, I knew I was going to start it anyway. And then Carolyn, Seasook Stitches, announced she was going to do a stitch along starting February 14th. So I waited. I didn't want to wait because I got this magazine in January. But I waited until her stitch along, and I started this on Valentine's Day. That kitten is adorable. And I always do, well, not always, but on many times I do a middle start. And so my middle start, this is how far I am. My middle start was right here in the white, and it was ugly for quite a while. And then I usually go to the right and down. So that's why I went this way, and this part of the slipper is all done. I've just started the kitten. The kitten's face. That's his little ear right there. And I've done all this since the 14th, and this is March 1st. So I've gone quite a ways in a couple of weeks. This fabric is 32 or 28, I don't remember. It's a Bestitch Me. I want to say Bestitch Me. Not positive, and I don't know where my card is. But it's called Diminuendo, which is an interesting name. It's a light green fabric, and even weave. I have not decided where to put things, so they're going on the floor because I already have something over here that I shouldn't bury. I don't know if this was the next. I think this was the next thing I started. Whenever I order from 123 Stitch, I always look to see what new Mill Hill things they might have. And I was very pleased and surprised to find this. Not only is it horses, which I absolutely love, it's also purple. There's lavender there. And it's called Icelandic Horses. This is a Buttons and Beads kit by Mill Hill. And most of this purple down here is beads. This is going to be so cool. And it's on a light blue perforated paper. And which way is up? I think this way is up, because I haven't gotten very far. So that's my small start on Icelandic Horses. I just couldn't help myself. I didn't need a new start, but when I saw this, I had to start it as soon as I got it. Stick this back in its bag. If you're looking for project bags from Mill Hill Kits, oh, sorry for the zipper, this size, which is a 7x9, works perfect for the 6x6 Mill Hill kits. And then I just put their name with a label maker on there. The next one I started, is this the next one? Yep, next one I started. For WIPGO this month, in February, last month, one of my calls was Halloween. And I looked at all I only have 3 Halloween whips, and I looked at them all, and I'm like, yeah, none of them are calling to me. So then I looked through my kitted projects, which I have all over the place, and I found this that was already kitted up. It's the first time I've stitched a Blackbird Designs Midnight Watch. I just love that cat on top of the house, and so I had to start this. And this fabric is, where is my thing that says what the fabric is? I think it's called Luna or something like that. It's an 18 count Aida, and it's in my opinion, a scrumptious color. So this is it, and there's my small start. I started on the door, which is the middle, and then I moved a little bit to the right, and I'm going to go up first because I want to get up to that cat. If I go down, it's just alphabet. And Halloween was called again for March, so I'm going to keep working on this because I really like it. It's fun to stitch on too. And it is Weeks Dye Works and Classic Color Works is the called for threads. And then my last new start was, a lot of people were doing what they call a Leap Day start. Some people are doing one where they started on Leap Day and they give themselves until the next Leap Day and 4 years to finish. Some people are doing where they started on Leap Day and they give themselves until the end of February next year to finish. I don't have either of those plans. My plan was just to start it. And I had one thing planned, and then I went and looked through my kitted stuff, and I had kitted this the same time I kitted Stablemates, and told myself I wouldn't start this until I finished Stablemates, which you saw in my last regular video. So this is called Barnyard Buddies. This is from the spring of 2020 Stony Creek magazine, and I fell in love with this. I just love these guys. The model is stitched on bell pull fabric from Stony Creek, and I don't like it, so I'm stitching it just on a light blue Aida that I got from who knows where. I think it's a 16 count. I used a little tool to measure it, but I'm not positive that I did it right. This is how much I got done on it yesterday for Leap Day. This is just the very top. So it was really fun to stitch. I love stitching those letters. The letters have an ombre look to them, and that's just 3 different colors of fabric. 3 different colors of floss, and then I started the little barns on each side, and I'm gonna work my way down. This one I started at the top, and I'm gonna work my way down. So those were all of my new starts, and now I have a pile of whips to share with you. They're projects that you've seen before, works in progress. The first one is Fresh Pick Lavender by Pedal Pusher Designs. I love this because it's purple. And I have, it's not tiny, I have a medium start. You've seen this before, but I've gone away since then. So this is, I'm starting on another flower here, but I pulled this over to get to this corner. So this is the top right corner. And this is fun to stitch on. It is on 16 or 18 count white Aida, and I'm enjoying when I get to stitch on that. And I say this every time, I wish I could stitch on everything all at once, but alas, I cannot. And I left my board with that. Sorry. Next up is Heart of Winter. This was a Whip Go call for February, and you won't see it because it's in the Q-snap, but I had already done from these trees all the way down, and I'm working on this section up here right now. This is on a 28 count even weave that is a light blue. I love this. I started this because of Brenda, Handwork Maniac. She was stitching it and I fell in love with it. So this is where I am. And I love that little reindeer. So I'm working up here. The last thing I did was these 2 trees. And I'm going to finish the trees and then move. There's border here that I need to do. And then I need to move this way. So that's Heart of Winter. It is not... It's not... So my only plan for next month is Whip Go. So it's not on there, but it is... I have a list of projects that I plan to finish this year, and that is on it. So I need to work on that every month until I get it done. The next thing I pulled out is something I haven't touched for quite a while. And I decided I really want to get this going. This is my chatelaine. It's called the Holland Springtime Garden Mandala. And I just love this. And it's going to be huge. I learned about chatelaines from Teresa Little Stitcher. She was doing one that is Evening in the Park or something like that, and when I went looking at them, I found this. And what I like about this, it's a mandala, which usually means all the 4 corners are the same, but on this, these sections are different. It's hard to see, this is a tiny picture, but there is a sailboat and tulips. Let's see, sailboat, a lighthouse. No. 2 different lighthouses in here, and a beautiful scene and a sailboat. Anyway, it's really hard to see because the picture's tiny. And I had a small start already. I had started this on New Year's Day several years ago, and I I'm saying and too much. I've worked on this several days. It takes a while because you're doing 4 of everything, and I've mentioned before, like with biscorn yews, by the time I get to the 4th time of something, I'm a little tired of it. It goes this way, although it doesn't really matter for showing purposes. This is how far I am. I'm working my way around with the color that goes on the outside here. And I'm really excited to get this one square done, big square, so I can get into those scenes. This is 32 count even weave. I don't know if it might 32 count Jobelin, I want to say, in Summer Sky, something like that. It's a pretty blue model. It's got modeling in it, so there's blue and white. And this, I am absolutely loving this. Another one, if I could work on them all at once. If I had 10 hands and arms, I could work on 5 things at once. This is another Mill Hill that I absolutely love, and I pulled it out just for a little bit. It is called Butterfly Capri, and it's a laurel birch picture. I love butterflies. I love color, and this is just beautiful. So here's where I am. Does not look like a butterfly yet. It just looks like splashes of color, but even that is pretty because the colors are so bright. This one is on a white perforated paper. So can't wait to finish that. I think these 2 Mill Hills, I think I'll get the frames. They make like a 6x6 frame for them, and I think both of them will be put into those kinds of frames. Next one I worked on is a gathering of acorns by Fox and Rabbit. This was from a class I took at Acorns and Threads at the end of January. It was a mystery until we got there, and then we found out that Fox and Rabbit was the designer and they made the fabric. So this is how far I've gotten. Had to get over here and do this little squirrel because it was so cute. But I started with the house. I'm working now up here on this. This is it's like an urn that flowers come out of, only it's acorns that are coming out of it. So this is the fabric is 36 count hog bristle by Fox and Rabbit. So Brendan dyed it. A gathering of acorns. This one's fun to stitch on, but it hasn't been calling to me. These days that kitten is calling to me, and I've gotten so far in the 2 weeks I've worked on it that I just want to finish it. And I cross stitch some during the day before work and on breaks and stuff during work at my desk, and in the evening I cross stitch in my recliner. So there's always like a focus piece that stays at my recliner. That's how I finished Stable Mates and Pretty Little New York, and now I'm focusing on the Snuggle is Real, that little kitten, to finish it, and then we'll see what goes in its place over there. I might go back to the Gathering of Acorns and finish it, I'm not sure, but I have a lot of other things that are calling to me too. So the next thing I worked on is Love on a Limb by Autumn Lane Stitchery. This is it. Love the owls. They are so cute. So cute. Excuse me. This is on a fabric I dyed myself. It is very bright, but the owls are bright. So this is 18 count, I think, Ada, and I dyed this myself. So I've been working on the branches down here. And this also is on my list for finishing this year. So I need to get working. I've got what I have left to do is this up here and some of this over here, and then the rest of this tree. So it's not a lot, it's not a ton. When I look at the picture, it doesn't look like much. When I look at the cross stitch, it looks like a little more. So hopefully that will get done this year. And the last thing I worked on, this is another thing I started as a stitch along. Carolyn Zook was starting it with, I think, Sarah Stitch and Mommy, and I don't know who else, but I saw it and I wanted to do it. So this is by Jardin Privé, and it's called Sampler au Fleur. I think it's really pretty. I did, however, have to add purple. It's pink and blue and green. I had to add purple. And I'm gonna, it's still in the Q-snap because I'm still working with it, and there's nothing, I haven't moved the Q-snap yet, so there's nothing that you won't see. Here's my start, and here's where I added purple, which it looks kind of pinky, but I'm replacing the pinks. I'm replacing parts of the pink with purples because it's me. It has to have some purple. So that's how far I am. I started in the middle with the tree, and then I worked my way down. So I'm right now going to cross this way. So I'm trying to decide if I'm going to work my way up or if I'm going to move the Q-snap and keep going down and finish the bottom. I'm really not sure, but it is fun to stitch on. And I love this. And I don't usually do samplers. You've heard me say before I don't like samplers. And it's not that I don't like samplers. I don't like prim, sampler reproductions. Those things aren't my thing. But samplers like this that have a lot of color, I like that. And this definitely has a lot of color. And my friends, we stitch on Thursday nights. They were all starting samplers for Leap Day yesterday. And I told them that Barnyard Buddies was my barnyard sampler because it's got a sampling of animals and it has words at the bottom. So that is all of my whips. Whip Go for January was Halloween and Heart of Winter, so I worked on both of those. Whip Go for February is Halloween again, 3 more days, so I'm going to work on Midnight Watch. And then the other one for February is E Pluribus Unum. That's a Jan Hicks Creates Patriotic stitch that I've shown before, and I will work on that. I tried to do the magazine monthly challenge for February, and I was an epic fail. It's funny, I did it in January where it was Bringo, where we stitched on something different every day for 24 days. And that was a lot of fun. But when it comes to the magazine monthly challenge, the normal months, I don't feel it so much because I get stuck on something I really want to work on that isn't on my list. And I tried. Next month I have some stuff written down, but I should revisit it because none of it is things that I've been working on that I know I want to work on. So that's the way it is. I can't help myself. My plans for March are my Whip Go. I will work on Halloween, and I'll work on E Pluribus Unum, and then whatever else I feel like. And since there are so many that I'm absolutely in love with, it makes it hard. So I have a little bit of new acquisitions to show you. As Jane and Julie say, delightful deliveries. I have seen a few, not a ton, but a few people stitching this. Summer Quaker by Leela Studio. And I don't know why I really like it. Maybe it's because it's colorful, although it's not necessarily my colors, but it is colorful. It's big. I'm trying to decide what fabric to stitch it on. I might do a 40 count or a 20 count because I want it to be, I don't like the ones that are humongous. So if I do that, if I stitch it on a 20 or a 40 count, I only need a 22 by 19 piece of fabric, and it'll only be 11 by 13. I'm also toying with the idea of a 25 count and stitching it 1/1. I haven't decided yet. That would make it 9 by 11. I'm not sure. So I need to find the fabric, and this I'm going to start on the first day of summer. So I have a little bit of time. And then I've recently started watching Evertote's videos, and maybe I shouldn't because it's going to get me in trouble. So Caroline was working on 2 things. I think they were both new starts for her, and it just so happened that they had them kitted up the way she was stitching them in their shop. So the first one is Modern Folk Embroidery, and it's Darling Starling, and it's called a mini sampler. Oh, there's a sampler. This is it. I would never stitch this. I would never buy this pattern based just on the colors and the way it looks. But Roxy Floss had, oh, I need to take my thread out. Roxy Floss had made, well, the way Caroline explained it There was this fabric in the shop that had been there. Sorry, I should have already taken that out. There was this fabric in the shop that had been there for a year and it wasn't selling. And she paired it with this pattern and then started stitching it. And the color is called Oak, O-O-A-K. This is an 18 count Aida. I don't know how it's going to look on the screen. I thought what I saw on her video was this is pink and the floss is pink. And she said that the 14 count Aida had a hint of purple, but I didn't want to do 14. And then these two flosses that were, they're Roxy, this is my first Roxy flosses. This is Legendary is the white, and Hussy is the, she called it burgundy. To me it's purple. I don't know, but I love it even more after I got it. So I'll be starting this sometime soon. It's not very big, so I could start and finish it in a month and it wouldn't make my counts bigger. So that is Darling Starling. And then the next thing that she was working on was The Birds and the Bees by Ink Circles. And she had a fabric that Carrie had dyed that's called Coco Loco. It's a dark brown. And they had this floss that is called Tequila Sunrise. And Carrie had started, or Carolyn had started this. And not my colors at all, but I was taken by it. And these are, this is, and I don't know how the color's going to show on here, but this is 32 count linen and it's a dark brown. It's a warm, yummy brown. And then I'm not going to take this out because it'll make noise. This is a highly variegated floss that's a yellowish orange. It looks like creamsicle to me. And it's called Tequila Sunrise. I will link below to the video that made me buy both of those things. Like I said, I just recently started watching them, and each time Caroline comes up with something that I'm like, I really like that. But the next video I watched, I stopped myself because I can't buy it all, and it's coming from Canada. And the one thing, coming from Canada, it took, I think it took 2 weeks from the day I shipped it, the day they shipped it until I received it. I was impressed that I ordered it on a Thursday night, and I got a shipping notification that night while I was sleeping. So they normally ship very fast. I know they've had people on vacation, and Caroline did say that they weren't going to be able to get things out quite as quickly as normal until the vacations are done, but I was really impressed with how quickly I received it, how quickly they shipped it. I think that is about it. My plans for March, I may have already said this, is the 2 things I need to stitch on for WIPGO, and whatever else here that I showed you, or it's in the bins behind me, happens to call my name. You never know what it will be next. I know I want to finish that kitten, now, especially now that I'm in the face. Although the slipper had some chunks of color that made the shading really pretty, that kitten is all confetti. So he's taking longer to stitch, but I do want to finish him. He's going to be adorable. I haven't figured out how I'm going to fully finish him, but I know I want to finish him. That's it. This is a short video this time. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll come back, and happy stitching. Bye for now.